Well, there's stories going around about tech billionaires trying to actually cheat death. Actually, we can maybe think of aging as a disease. That's one way I kind of look at it as. Although I doubt I have all the answers because maybe even if I have most of the answers, if I'm missing one of the answers, that one answer might be critical. So, but I want to actually put out something I think would be the poor man's way to maybe help you cheat death. Maybe. I hope this would work, but from my best research, because the billionaires they got the money to spend on the best nutritional supplements, and they're not being hoodwinked by the pharmaceutical industry. That's for sure. What do you do when you got a pile of cash? You start thinking about, well, how do I live longer and healthier? And is it possible for me to cheat death? Right. So, that's one of the things they're actually looking at, the actual physiology of the body, and how we can actually make ourselves last a lot longer. So I want to put something out here and I did put these things out before, but I'm going to add a little more to it. But I'm going to try to keep this simple because I think I did put out probably several hundred videos on various things I was looking into and things I take. I rotate vitamins and or supplements and herbs, and I don't take everything every day, but there's some ones out there I kind of, and I want to really keep this list very, very short. But at the end of this video, I'm going to actually mention other things that are important. But if I mention too many things, it gets confusing. So I want to really kind of keep it simple, stupid, for the poor man, right? Now, one thing I've been harping on a lot is about the vitamin C. I knew it was I always knew it was important, but I never realized just how damn important it could be because, now that I'm looking at, because, I really don't trust a lot of people, what people say in the alternative medical world sometimes, because they can exaggerate, and then sometimes even if they're not exaggerating, they're trying to sell you more expensive products. But actually, it's just plain old vitamin C, ascorbic acid. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I mean, yeah, there's the ones that are a little bit better, but the bioflavins in it and stuff in the natural form. But it doesn't have to be anything fancy or expensive. This is a very, very cheap supplement. Um, I actually, personally, I'm not telling you to do this, and I take 20,000 milligrams a day. Okay, that is like 666 times more than 666, right? Than the recommended daily requirement of 60 milligrams. They're thinking about doubling the recommended daily requirement to 120 milligrams. Now, I put out a lot on this vitamin because, I looked at the research that went all the way back to the 40s from Dr. Kleiner. He was basically using this almost as a cure-all for almost anything, but it had to really be large doses because it worked as an absolute viricide, antitoxin. It helped repair tissue. The worst thing you can get if you take too much is bowel intolerance, but you can actually take a lot of it even orally if you divide the doses up during the day. So I take a lot of it. I'll take a gram or two here and there all during the day. Even if I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll take a little bit here and there. So I could tolerate about 20,000 milligrams, and 80% of people can tolerate 10,000 milligrams without having a bowel intolerance. So they also theorized that if we had the vitamin C capability, that's some scientists, and it's not really medical doctors, but they theorized that if we had this capability in our bodies, it looks like it went dormant eons ago, that we'd be living hundreds of years old. Because they did prove on animals that if they take the capability of vitamin C reproduction, their own vitamin C reproduction in their own body, they remove that capability, the animals will live a lot less longer. So to me, this is the best bang for the buck for longevity, possibly longevity. I guess if you did a whole bunch of different things like the billionaires are doing, maybe it will be true. But this is going to be the poor man's guide. So, vitamin C is dirt cheap. It's very safe. There's not going to be anybody out there telling you it's like dangerous. There's one study out there from way back that said if you take a lot of vitamin C, it can cause kidney stones. But that has been refuted by other medical doctors. Okay. I'm not going to say, even refuted by alternative people, because, if you don't want to believe I know some people always believe alternative people. Some people always believe medical doctors. I try to stick with what the medical doctors say, but even amongst them, there's a lot of controversy. But a lot of medical doctors will say that vitamin C is good for you, and some will say mega vitamin C is a good thing to do. And I've seen some really wild studies where mega vitamin C gave some outstanding results. And I very much focused in on the key where, they did the study with the mice and they modified their genes, whereby they took the vitamin C producing capability out of their body. Their lifespan was greatly reduced and they got cancer fast. So, I don't know if that applies to humans, but it's, to me, it's good enough evidence for me. So, and I can really talk about this for 3 hours, but I'm not. So that's a good one for the poor man. You don't have to get nothing fancy. You don't have to get the expensive stuff that costs you $1 a dose. You just get plain old vitamin C. You can buy it anywhere, right? So that's one. The other one is coconut oil. Coconut oil has been a very old standby. Actually, if you look in the Polynesian Islands, Malaysia, Philippines, man, they got it as all kinds of cures for everything. They actually say that it's the lauric acid, because lauric acid it consists of about 47-48% of the coconut oil consists of lauric acid. It's an anti-microbial, antiviral thing, and as it builds up in the body, they always used to wonder why the Malaysians and the Filipinos had a better, not 100%, but a better resistance to malaria. They used to think it was in the genes, but from my research, I found out, maybe this is not. I really am not going to be able to give it a reference on it because I read these things years ago, but I reread them in different areas. But they found out that it wasn't in the genes; it was actually in the diet. There was so much coconut in the diet of the Filipinos and Malaysians that it actually built up a lot of lauric acid in the body, which is an antimicrobial. It's known to be an antimicrobial, an antiviral, and it helped them. Not guaranteed that they didn't get malaria, but it helped them have a little more resistance to malaria. But coconut oil, that's one thing about it. It could help a little bit with, not to say it's going to be some kind of cure, but it could help a little bit, because all good nutrition does assist the body. If it's good nutrition, some people say you can't say this as a claim, but I'm going to tell you, it's freaking common sense, freaking no-brainer 101. All good nutrition does help assist the body to fight disease. But, I'm looking at what's the best super nutrition. Coconut oil is usually almost anybody that gives you a top 10 list of superfoods, coconut oil is on it. The other thing is it raises the ketones in the brain. It can help with, they've shown where it helped with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. Not always, but sometimes it almost performed miracles with Alzheimer's. It's the only fat that goes directly to energy. It's a medium triglyceride. It doesn't clog up your arteries like some other fats. Now, I know they've been finding out now that butter is actually good for you, which was, hey, no kidding, and margarine's the bad stuff. But coconut oil has been one of those things where it could actually help your numbers on your blood work, believe it or not. I mean, it's one of the fats that is about the most safest fats going. I mean, yeah, there's other ones out there like borage oil, cod liver oil, flax oil, fish oil, but coconut oil is like, it's got a gazillion different good things you could talk about for 2 hours. But if you want to look at something that's a no-brainer for longevity, that's a good one. The other thing is, it's also good for the skin, on the skin, and also it works to help preserve the skin when you take it internally. It's good to nourish the skin internally. It also works as it's such a good anti-microbial that if you get a cut on your skin, you put the coconut oil on it, that can not only help heal it and nourish it, but it also helps guard it from infection. The other thing is, it's a very, very powerful cleaner, believe it or not. Like if you have, I actually put this out for people that work on, with their hands and they get dirty, and especially if people work on cars and things. This will cut through grease faster than anything, and all those little cuts and stuff you get on your hands, it'll actually dissolve the grease without having any kind of chemicals that get into your skin. It's very nourishing for the skin. It'll dissolve the grease, and you have to go over it with soap, of course, to break it down and wash it away. But it also help and heal and nourish the cuts on the skin. But it's also known to be heart healthy. It's a heart healthy type of oil, and some of the people that have the best longevity have been using this oil quite a bit successfully, and also the coconut milk. But coconut is one of your top superfoods out there, especially the oil. So the poor man's guide right here, so I'm not going to get into too much, but I wanted to tell you about other different reasons to use it and other ways it could be used. Another thing, now this sounds pretty fancy, N-Acetyl Cysteine. It's not an expensive supplement, but I have to point out, actually a lot of medical doctors have recommended this. It can actually help even boost your immune system. But I want to tell you something else, because how they got the thing now where they always say, take statins for cholesterol, and yet there's people like Eskimos that have cholesterol like 300, and they virtually have no heart disease, or a very low incidence of heart disease. I don't know. Well, from my research, cholesterol, there's no real link between cholesterol and heart disease. It's not exactly that. It's actually homocysteine. It's the buildup that in the arteries, the plaque. It's homocysteine. It's actually from synthesizing proteins, and this builds up in your blood, in your arteries. Well, the N-Acetyl Cysteine, there's other things too that can help bring it down. Will help bring down. It's not the only thing that can, but I'm trying to put just one product out there. Will help bring down those homocysteine levels, and also the lipoprotein A, which is, I don't think they even check this stuff on people, but they usually check cholesterol, triglycerides, HDL, and LDL, right? They don't check homocysteine. I don't know who does. But actually, the homocysteine and the lipoprotein A are the things that really clog up your arteries. There's other things you could take to help bring that down, but I just want you to remember N-Acetyl Cysteine. It's got a lot of uses. Actually, it can help boost the immune system. And the other thing is, because I want to actually put this out for working class people, I could say there's people that say it doesn't help, and some people say there's a lot of people that say it does help. It will not fix your hearing, but it could, you emphasize could help with protect your hearing from damage from long, loud noises. Actually, the military has looked into this supplement because of, people that are exposed to loud noises, around artillery or whatever, gunfire, explosions, whatever the hell it is, or machinery, to protect the hearing. So N-Acetyl Cysteine allegedly could help preserve your hearing from damage from loud noises. That's another thing. But it's got a lot of different uses, even per medical doctors. This isn't one of those things that's, you know, the medical doctors, a lot of medical doctors acknowledge this is a very good supplement. And the reason I'm emphasizing it is because of, not to say it's guaranteed, because there's a lot of other things you really need to be doing, but trying to keep this simple. This could help lower that the stuff that really clogs up your arteries, which is not the cholesterol. It's the homocysteine and lipoprotein A. But it has a lot of other uses. I should mention CoQ10 is another good one for that too. But cod liver oil, but I can't be getting too complicated on here. Another thing is pure baking soda. Now I know they got health food places that sell stuff that's non-aluminum baking soda. I'm going to tell you this. Baking soda is baking soda non-aluminum. What has aluminum is baking powder. If somebody puts on their package non-aluminum baking soda, it's like it's like telling you something that it's almost like saying wet water. You know what I mean? Yeah, we know water's wet. Is there such thing as dry water? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you got any brand of baking soda, it's sodium bicarbonate. That's what it is. It doesn't have aluminum in it. It's baking powder that has aluminum in it. That's the one you don't want to take, because aluminum is toxifying to the body, and it's toxifying to the brain too. But baking soda has a lot of different detoxifying uses. It also indirectly, say it brings up the carbon dioxide in the body, but also it helps bring up the oxygen levels in the body too. Now I know about this actually from my mom, who was an RN. And she's a degreed RN. She worked intensive care. She also worked for more than a decade investigating doctor fraud. That's why I know about a lot of stuff in the medical. I also I have friends that are doctors, and I have a friend that runs. He's retired now, but he ran alternative medical clinics for many years and had doctors working for him. I kind of know a lot of stuff that goes around in the medical world, but even though I'm not a professional myself, but I read this stuff, and I've been reading it and self-educating myself a lot, and I try to filter out what I see as extreme exaggerations, and there are a lot of them out there. But baking soda's been an old standby for just about everything. If back in the old days, if you had a headache, you would take a little bit of baking soda. If you had an upset stomach, you would take a little bit of baking soda. If you had a cold, you would take a little bit of baking soda. Now my mom's been taking it since she was 16 or 17 because she learned it from her mom. But the thing is, she actually does it. People know about it. I've been forgetting to do it. Now I've been doing it again, but I noticed my energy levels have been going up better, and I says, whoa, that's crazy. But it helps with it. Besides bringing up the carbon dioxide, it helps with the oxygen levels. So it does help with your energy levels, which can help with your productivity. Now, I'm going to say this. Everybody practically in my family had cancer, and she's not had cancer, and she's well into her 80s. I don't know if that's why I harped on it on other videos about this. Because, and I also know some medical doctors, when they have a cancer patient, some medical doctors, they will give them the chemotherapy and other treatments. But then they also, on top of that, they recommend to drink a little bit of baking soda water every day. But I don't think it's a bad thing to do every day. Back in the old days, this was like a healthy thing to do. But, people make choices. They'll say, they laugh at it, they make jokes, and they, I don't care. I think it's funny that I drink a quart of vodka every day or something and smoke 12 cigars or something. I don't know, whatever. But, it's a matter of choice. But I'm just saying it's dirt cheap. Baking soda is like, you can put a small box of it for 50 cents. And if you're only taking like maybe a little less, taking a level teaspoon of it in water every day, that 50 cents is going to go for many, many days, right? But it has a lot of potential in a lot of indirect ways because it detoxifies the body and it brings more oxygen level into the body. And it probably is going to help improve your energy levels. But you don't take a lot of it. Don't take a lot of it. So these are I'm just bringing out a poor man's guide here for different things. And, I just want to mention other things. I take, B12. Also, I take Nature's Way, Whole Food Energizer. Take that one like a religion. Flax oil, borage oil, fish oil, olive leaf extract, astragalus root, vitamin E, vitamin D3, saw palmetto, there's niacin, B3, L-glutathione, alpha lipoic acid, there's the whole 9 yards, okay? And there's a lot of different things I take. So, and I can just go on actually, and I don't take all this stuff every day. But I wanted to simplify this because these things are actually cheap. And actually, the only one I actually talked about that was, an over-the-counter thing that you might not find in every box store is N-Acetyl Cysteine. And the reason I emphasize that is, it has a lot of different uses, but it's because of, and it's not guaranteed that it's going to work against the homocysteine levels, but it could very much, it's one of the things that could help per medical doctors. And it's not the cholesterol that gets you, it's what clogs your artery. So I hope I gave you some things here to just, very simple, to give you some new life, new hope, and actually a new awakening, just like a desert flower reblooms in a desert. You think sometimes life is hopeless, or maybe you're on the way down, or you're getting old. Maybe there's a new way to change things around. So some of those simple things I said I would seriously give a try. I think they're well worth it.